Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Flagler Weather Update. Today is the 14th of June, 2026, and that makes today Sunday. So we're starting off with a look at our satellite imagery and typical afternoon, evening thunderstorms. The bulk of them are more off to the north. As a matter of fact, if we change the mode here a little bit, let's take a look at lightning, and that gives us an idea where the worst of those storms are right now. So the bulk of them are up to the north of us right now at this time. Some to the south. Looks like we kind of shot the gap this afternoon. And but every day with thunderstorms is a little bit different. So we're going to take a closer look at the forecast here in just a little bit. But let's go ahead and talk tropics first. So taking a look at the tropical update, and right now there's an area where it's currently over the very far eastern part of Mexico here, northeast Mexico. It's a little disturbance, a little area of disturbed weather. And this is forecast to move out over to the northwest Gulf. When it reaches that location, it's going to have a very small opportunity to possibly develop in the middle part of the upcoming week. Now, it's way too early to know if this will be a role player in our weather. As you know, stuff from the Gulf sometimes comes our way. But at this time right now, the trend is for it to be more of a problem for Louisiana. But we will continue to monitor that, and that is straight from the National Hurricane Center, which is, again, the best resource for keeping up on the tropics. Let's take a little look closer to home, and we're going to talk about sargassum seaweed because that's also been a topic of discussion here. And so right now, looking at the Gulf view from the National Weather Service, NOAA, and see if this works here. Yes. So get a closer look. And you can see, let's make sure this works properly here. So you can see right up in the northeast Florida area that this is where you have a high risk of it. And I'm just watching my playback, make sure this is working like I think it will. So, yes. So Flagler County being right about here. So we've kind of drifted. We were in this high risk area right now, but we're kind of drifted into the medium risk area. And the sargassum seaweed's been getting progressively worse year after year after year. And there's three factors behind that. One of them is nutrient pollution. It's getting into the ocean and the Caribbean, and that's everybody. That's the Mississippi River. That's rivers coming out of Central America, Mexico, Caribbean islands, all that stuff. And it's dumping a lot of stuff into the water that this sargassum just loves, and it grows really well. The Saharan dust that comes across from Africa, which is typical this time of year, carries nutrients too, certain elements that the sargassum likes. Plus, climate change, warmer oceans allow this stuff to grow better. So it's a three-pronged thing, and that's why we've been seeing more and more outbreaks of this stuff. And largely it's harmless, but, it does have some arsenic in it, and that's why you really can't, someone made a joke of rolling it up and smoking it. No, you don't want to do that. You can't translate it to food. You can't translate it to fertilizer to use for food because the traces of arsenic can get translated through that process. And some of the chemicals it gives off when it rots away, again, very low amounts, but you don't want to inhale that stuff either. So anyways, but it is a feature of living in the southeast, and the conditions have been getting worse as year after year after year. But typically this is an early summer thing, and then it begins to clear off after that. So the Gulf Stream here helps transport this stuff up from the Caribbean. And of course, right now we're in the medium to high risk areas of seeing additional sargassum seaweed washing ashore here in Flagler County. So, but local results will vary. You might go to the beach, and at one part of the beach you don't see any of it. Go a few hundred yards up the beach, and there's a clump of it there. So it's very localized, but you can expect more of it to be washing in the days ahead. What's been kind of helping us out here as of late, as well as the offshore winds. When the winds are blowing from the southwest towards the northeast, it kind of blows all that stuff out to sea. And when it blows onshore is when we have the bigger problems of that stuff washing in. So But that's where things stand with that right now. So let's go ahead and get into our local information. And first off, how things playing out. Got a pretty complicated storm system up to the north of us here, and it's bringing a risk of severe weather from the Carolinas through Washington up into New York and up into New England. That system moves further to the east and shunts off the coast by Monday, and this front tries to get down into the southeast, but it stalls to our north, and that kind of keeps this southwest flow going over us, which increases the chances of our afternoon and evening thunderstorms. And then we'll be watching to the west of us when we get to about Tuesday, Wednesday, all that tropical moisture being shunted up. There could be some flooding problems over the north central Gulf and western Gulf areas. Flagler County in Florida, staying away from the worst of that, but we'll be keeping an eye in the days ahead what's going to happen with that. So taking a look at any local hazards and things that the Weather Service is concerned with locally. Again, one of the main stories this week is going to be those heat index numbers, and we're looking at 104 to 108 degrees. Heat advisories start coming out when you get up to 108 degrees. So that is something to watch. And afternoon and evening thunderstorms will be likely each day through most of the week. And the best timing of those is anywhere from 2 in the afternoon through 9 o'clock at night. Some storms will have some frequent lightning, heavier downpours, especially right along the I-95 corridor, because that's where things will be piling up due to that southwest flow. And this was kind of today's forecast height, rain chances and stuff. Doesn't really apply now since this is the evening. And again, some advice, we talk about the heat index, and that's not the actual temperature, but it's what it feels like out there. And that's what your body is going to react to. So it's very important if you're doing any outside stuff, no matter what it is, to stay properly hydrated. And if you're sensitive to heat, try to avoid the hottest times of the day, which in Florida is basically from like sunrise to 9 o'clock at night. We are getting out of the drought problem slowly but surely. We now have moderate drought conditions in the east part of the county, severe drought elsewhere, and that's because we have been getting rain. So that's good news for that. And again, we just talked about the tropics. No concerns with this right now, but we'll keep an eye. Okay, let's talk about temperatures. So go with high temperatures first. For tomorrow, look at the high temperatures in the lower to mid 90s county-wide. Probably about 95 inland, about 88 at the beaches. And if we get to Tuesday, looks like it'll be about the same thing. Wednesday, maybe just a tiny bit cooler with highs right near 90 instead of 95. It's going to cool down to 90. Ooh, you'll notice that. But then we bounce back up on Thursday, and then Friday, 94, 95 degrees, and then Saturday, 93 degrees or so. Looking at low temperatures now, let's see what our lows are expected. And let's get to daily low temperatures. So it's probably going to be about the same every day. So low tonight, pretty much mid 70s. So, most of us upper 70s and 80 at the beaches. 80 at the beaches, mid to upper 70s inland. And that's kind of stay the same throughout the whole week. So low temperature is pretty consistent as we go through this week. Temperatures largely in the 70s. You'll find those warmer readings near the ocean, where the ocean temperature is a nice 82 degrees. But what's important is the apparent temperature and that heat index. So what's that looking at? For tomorrow, we're looking at heat index numbers approaching 107 degrees across mostly inland parts of the county. Marine land, too. So good day to get in the water with those dolphins up there. Flagler Beach, Beverly Beach, a little lower, but still impressive heat index numbers across the area. And, they say this is Florida, it's hot, but this is a little above normal than we typically would see. So then on Tuesday, we come down a little bit. We're down to the upper hundreds and lower 90s for heat index numbers. And again, heat index numbers are very important because it's how your body is going to react as to what it feels like out there. And then Wednesday, not too terribly bad. Heat indexes right near 100 degrees. Then we start cranking back up Thursday, up to 106 degrees. Good part of the county with that. And then we're flirting with 107 degrees by Friday. Keep in mind that this is several days out, that this forecast will probably get tweaked between now and then. But expect those really hot temperatures and those heat index numbers to stay with us, especially the latter part of the week. And then maybe some relief on Saturday. So we're going to talk now about precipitation. So what are we looking at on rainfall? Well, let's take a look at precipitation chances first. For tonight, we're looking at generally about a 30% chance of a shower, maybe a thunderstorm. But then as we get into, whoops, sorry, a little jumping around there. And then we get into tomorrow, between 60 to 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms. You notice that main focus is shifting north and east here. That's where they're thinking most of the thunderstorms will be. Keep in mind that thunderstorm activity can be very localized. It's very challenging to forecast exactly who's going to get the big heavy thunderstorm and who's going to miss it. So tomorrow night, we still keep about a 20% chance of rain. Tuesday, about a 50% chance focusing in the eastern part of the county. Tuesday night, very minimal with 10% chance. Wednesday, about 60 to 70% chance, eastern part of the county. Wednesday night, we dry out a little bit. And then Thursday, those rain chances come down quite a bit to about maybe 30% chance right now. And then as we go into Thursday night, we see, again, the rain engine pretty much shut off. We go into Friday, about a 30 to 40% chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Not looking at anything widespread. Then Friday night, just a minimal chance. And then those rain chances pop back up Saturday to maybe 60% chance. Again, the caution is this is 6 days out. This forecast will get tweaked. So these numbers can come up or come down. But at the bottom line, expect a chance of showers and thunderstorms on Saturday if you have any plans. And then Saturday night, about a 30% chance. So how much rain are we going to get? Let's take a look at that right now. First, let me find that. Precipitation accumulation, 7 days. The Weather Service has changed their website, so I'm still learning this here. So this is the 7-day precipitation forecast. This takes us from now until Sunday morning. So about a half inch, inch and a half, about an inch, inch and a half. You can see that the bulk of the rain is focusing on the eastern side of the county. That's where we're thinking more of the thunderstorms will be occurring. Colliding as that Gulf Coast sea breeze moves across and collides with the East Coast sea breeze right along I-95. So it won't rain all day on these days. Just you'll get the round of showers and storms. They'll come, do their thing, and move on. Of course, one or two of them could be strong. Even the odd one could be severe. So just be aware of that. So let's go ahead and get out of there. Yeah, one second. Whoops, we went a little bit too far. So we're going to take a look at winds real quick. If I can get everything to come back here. And come on back. Here we go. So what kind of winds are we looking at? Let's take a look at, let's see here. Wind gust, as we go through the week ahead here, about 10 to 15 on the breeziest, 10 to 20, 15 to 20. So 15 to 20. We're not seeing any real extreme wind numbers here. So typical, winds that we can expect to see here in Flagler County during the summertime. So let's go further into the future. How are things looking as we go further out? So this takes us towards the middle to the end of June. We're almost in the middle. We're about in the middle of June right now. This takes us right around to the last week of June, getting there. Look for precipitation chances to be right near normal, maybe a little bit above. Temperature outlook, there's a 59% chance of above normal temperatures for the area. So yes, most likely very warm. And as we go into the very end of June, approaching July, look for about a 70% chance of above normal temperatures. And look for about normal precipitation that can be expected. So anyways, that's going to wrap things up. I appreciate everyone taking time to tune in with us. So in short, looks like hot days, afternoon thunderstorms, varying coverage each day. Some days, most everyone will see a storm. Some days, one or two people might see one, and most of us will miss them. So every day it's going to be a little bit different. No problems in the tropics. Sagasta seaweed is still going to be an issue if you're going to the beaches. But it's patchy. It's not, the whole beach isn't covered, so you can probably find a spot that's not too bad. And with those offshore winds persisting, that'll help blow a lot of that stuff away from the coast. So that's some good news there. So if you're just joining us and you've missed a broadcast because we're wrapping up, after I post this, it will go. It'll be saved. You can rewind it. Also, don't forget we have a YouTube channel. Just look us up at Flagler Weather Info on YouTube. We'll post the link up here. Also, we have a TikTok channel at Flagler Weather Info on TikTok. You can look us up there as well. Everybody have a fantastic week. Our schedule, we plan to be back next weekend, But if there's any big changes to the forecast, we'll be back middle of the week. Or we might just have a quick, update middle of the week, but not a full forecast. Everybody have a great week ahead.